So in this question I'm going to be discussing how to read histograms. So we've got a histogram over here, and we're going to be discussing how to read that, and the question we're using actually is from the specimen paper given to us from AQA. That was question 2. Okay, so that's what we're going to have a go at doing. Now if we look at the question first, okay, so we've got, this is the main kind of question here. We've got to do two things really. We've got to calculate the total number of users in the sample group, and we need to work out which of the 4 bars represents the greatest number of potential users. Yeah, so there's two things we've kind of got to do. Now what I'd suggest is we have a look at the marks, so we can see there are 4 marks available there, and you can see pretty much from looking at the actual graph over here there is 4 bars, 1 2 3 4. Okay, so as well as working out these two questions obviously that we've talked about here, we probably want to work out what all the values are in the bars, and then we can work out the total number of users, and we can also work out which bar's got the most there as well. Okay, so the first thing we're basically going to do, okay, if we look at my little range of tips down the bottom here, okay, so the first one there is we're going to work out the frequency of each bar on the x-axis in terms of the ranges that we've got there. Okay, so if we look at our first range, so we just look at the this bar here. Okay, I have a bit of a problem with how this is kind of represented, because that would appear that is 70 to 75. Okay, but if we'd done that, obviously you'd have a range of 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75. Okay, so it's a much bigger range than what I think they're expecting in this particular answer. I think what they're actually looking for here is a range of 70 to 74, and then a range of 75 to sort of 79, or in this case to 84, effectively giving us ranges here of 5, 10, 5 and 10 again, and that's quite simple there if we work it out in that particular case. Okay, so what we're looking at in the first instance there is we're looking at range there of 5. So in that first area there, 70 to 75, we've got 70, 71, 72, 73 and 74 there, and then our next range will start at 74 there and go to 84. I think they're intending on these being quite straightforward in this particular sense. Okay, so we've worked out the frequency for the bar there. In that first bar it is 5. Okay, now we then look at the frequency density for that bar. Okay, so here's our frequency density on the y-axis on this side, there's our x-axis on the bottom there, and if we go across at that point there, we can quite clearly see that we have a frequency density of 2. Okay, now we've got a frequency density of 2, we know the range here is 5 for this particular one, so simply all we have to do is do 5 times 2, and that obviously equals 10. Okay, now we obviously want to work this out for each of the actual bars themselves. Okay, so if we look here, we can see the frequency density there is for that one, and the frequency density at the top there obviously is that one, and if we go across here we can see our frequency density there is the same. Okay, now if you look at these cells here on the side, or the way it moves up, effectively these are all 0.2 increments, because there's 5 increments there in between each one, so we can work out what the individual sizes are for each of the bars, so you can work out your frequency density there quite easily. Okay, now all we have to do is work it out for each bar. So as I said, we worked it out for the first one there. We've got a range of 5 in this particular case. We've got a frequency density of 2, so all we have to do is do that for the same. So our second one we said is a range of 10 there. We just times that by the frequency density for that. Our next one is 5, so again it's going to be 5 times the frequency density for that, and the last one there is a range of 10, and again we've got the frequency density over there. So if we work out that sum for each of the sections there, we should be able to work out the answer. Okay, so let's just do this quickly. There we go. So our first one there, we've got 5 times 2, our frequency density is 10. Okay, our second one we've got the range of 10, we times that by the frequency density there of 3.8, so we have 38. Next one we have a range of 5. Okay, our frequency density there is higher, it is 6. Okay, so 5 times 6 is 30, and the last one here, our range is 10 times by our frequency density here, in this case of 1.2. Okay, gives us a frequency of 12 in total there. Okay, and then we add these up. Okay, so we've got there So we've got a range there of 90 total users, okay, and we can see from this our biggest range is obviously in this bracket here, okay, our range there of 38. So we've got 10, 38, 30 and 12. There's our different bars, and we can see the biggest range is in this section here, okay, with a frequency density of 38. So that's the answer, and talking about how to read histograms there.